Welcome back, fans and friends, for this upcoming video. As you can see, what's in the top corner of the screen are two Subarus. And this, I believe, is the Matchbox version. You can see there, I'm not wrong. 2015 WRX STI Subaru. Specifically a rally car, but they went cheap with the overhead mirror there. Like it's a safety car, emergency vehicle. Those are supposed to be warning lights. And you can see there's 0 for safety, Subaru, as everything else. With the wipers, not a terribly done car, but as you can see, it is very plainly colored. Just the sides, the front and back are literally plain. All the and it is reasonably well done. We've talked about why Matchboxes are sometimes painted better than the Hot Wheels equivalent, which is this. You can see there are Hot Wheels, and this is also a Subaru WRX STI. Much later, and this one happens to be left-hand drive. They're both left-hand drive, both windshield wipers, so both reasonably done well. And as you can see, this one as well. This is not actually, I think, a no, it is. There you go, rally vehicle. Except it has actually STI and Subaru painted on the front, but everything else is relatively plain. So why is this important? Because today I happen to find this. This is a 2-pack of Subarus, Imprezas. Both WRXs. One of these is an STI, one is not. And this one is unyeared. So what I mean by that is the typical Mattel version of it. It's a Subaru Impreza WRX, and you have to look at details of the car. So for me, what's called the bug eye version of the car was only built for 2 years, 2000, 2002. So it is probably within that range. You can see it is left-hand drive. And then this one happens to have a year to it, 2016, so a year newer than that one on the right there. And they are both actual, I believe, the rally versions of the car. Obviously, this one is not an STI version. Well, this one is. So there we have it, Mattel, Real Riders Car Culture version of 2-packs. And I do believe I have actually already covered these two. Chiron and the Veyron. I don't know if I'm looking for those. I might. If I see it on the shelf, I'll grab it. Obviously, I have not until now. And then obviously here are those two. I believe I missed the Skylon 2-pack, and I really want them to come out with a Lancer Evolution 2-pack. Perhaps just the Lancer and then the Lancer Evolution, like what they've done here. Or they could do an Evo and then number it, and then the second newer number. Anyway, wish not want. So there we have it. Motor Trend Group, SS. We have Bugatti and Nissan, and I don't, where's the Subaru logo? It should be here somewhere, because we do have everybody else. We just don't know where the Subaru is. It'll come up. Eventually I'll find it. There's all the licensing information, everything else you need to know. And so, I'm going to take it out of the package. I'll probably put these in the containers that I bought previous video, because they're just so nice, and I'm going to completely demolish the box. I try to open them when I get them. The only ones that can possibly hide are the M2s. So we'll start with the older one first, and then move on to the new one. And the good thing about the older one is it's a premium, so that's great. But it has very little in terms of coloration. As you can see, it is a plain silver metallic with yellowish wheels. They both share the wheel type. But what I mean is, I'm not gonna complain about how poorly the lettering is. And we have a bit of a, oh, that sucks. Right there at the top there is a, you can see there, the light hugging the corners. That is a paint defect, so it's bare metal underneath. Anyway, starting from the front, you have weird gaps. And I believe it's the plastic is not colored on the bottom, so it looks like he's drooping. Really sad that it's a Subaru, I don't know. You have there the inlet for the turbocharge. As you know, these cars, WRXs and the STIs, are turbocharged cars. They usually are a 4-cylinder boxer engine to get as much power as possible. And they're really famous for it. One of the few companies that ever used it as widespread as they did. Beyond the sad eyes, you just have the coloration for the turning signal. The grille is extremely plain. There is nothing else written on the car to tell us it's a Subaru. I do see WRX though, I believe. Yeah, right across the front of the hood there. Very hard to see, but you can just see the letters there. On to the left side, 4 doors passenger car, as we know, it's called sedan. You can just see the spoiler. We have rear view mirrors, which is great. One thing I don't like is the plastic doesn't fit into the roof. You see for the side window here. And we're going to probably see a little bit worse on the other side too. Nothing else is painted. There you have another light indicator. So it works and it doesn't work. Like I said, I can't now complain that it's printed with a dot matrix printer. We have there WRX Subaru. I do believe it might actually, those little red letters, be STI, but they are so fuzzy, so I will complain about it. You will just see there, you see WRX on the left, Subaru in the middle, and there's no way to tell what that on the right is. I want to say STI, but according to Mattel, it probably is not. It could be an STI model of the car though, so don't get me wrong. It's just unfortunately I'm not as familiar with these as I am with the some other cars. The lights are 3D painted, and they look circular, and reasonably well done. Nothing to complain there. Spoiler stamped onto the back there, and hollow in the middle, which is great, but you can see how thick it is so that you can keep from not breaking it. Nothing on the license plate. Exhaust on the right side of the car, and onto the right side. So in defense of this car, I usually rail about the gas being on the opposite side where the driver is. There's advantages, disadvantages. I personally don't want to have to get out of the car or walk all the way around, but this is theoretically a Japanese car. It just happens to be sold in left-hand drive. So if it was in Japan, Australia, the UK, New Zealand, India, and obviously where it was made, the gas makes sense, the gas cap there. It's just a little nitpick about it. I live in North America, so I think GM actually does this too, and they're all left-hand drive except for the ones made in Europe. Anyway, enough about that. There you have what I was talking about. You can see the gap. The windshield doesn't quite fit. You see it fits here perfectly, but it was not made to fit the side there. Back to the front, we go underneath. Extremely, and I've always said this about these Mattel's cars, the underneath is extremely plain. Transfer case, drive shaft, everything else really squarish and rather plain. And these things are relatively heavy. They're not made for the toy sets. And you can just see, you can hear that. That is just a rough paint job. I was hoping it would be scratched off, but you can see the bubbles around it. It is in fact a defect, which is kind of sad. But like I said, I don't hate the car. I think it's reasonably well done. It's not painted with any lettering except for right there that I want to complain about. Other than that, reasonably well done WRX. And here's the 2016 version of the car, and this is the STI. Motorsports USA, obviously because left-hand drive. Everything else relatively similar. I think these cars, they switched to their own frames based off of a slightly larger vehicle, while those were off of the traditional Imprezas, and then they moved away from that. Anyway, into the details of the car, you see there's the Subaru symbol, lights 3D painted, left and right look relatively the same. And what I was talking about before, you can just see how fuzzy the lettering underneath the grille is. It is nearly impossible to read. Vanguard sports car, I want to say it says. We start with the VD and then sports car I can read. There's the lights on the other side. Onto the left side, we see the fuzz. It's pearlescent paint, but you can just see they've kept it nice and simple. Nice curves on it rather than the old, slightly boxier version of the car. Rear view mirrors on both sides. However, interestingly, and I don't know much about Subarus, but you can see here, I don't know if that's a physical defect or I think they do come like this. That is a rally thing there. So you can open just a little bit of the window and talk through it and or signal without having to open the whole window. But you can see where the rear view mirror is placed. It is not placed in the corner like the 2015 STI over there or this one. Normal, not all cars, but normally in production the mirrors are put on the corner or off the door, not through the window. Anyway, side running boards. The handles are not painted other than the blue and the yellow. There's the rear lights. Super nice on the back. I like the 3D glow license plate, so I'll give them that. VSC 199. So VSC Vanguard sports car, I believe, and then 199. I am unsure. People will know who understand Subaru better than I do, understand rally better than I do, what that means. And Motorsport USA, exactly what it says on the windshield. Spoiler is a plastic rather than a metal. You can just see there. No roof defect, so that's great. I believe that hole is a part of an actual car. STI on the top there. I believe I missed that. Oh no, to the right side. I do not see where the gas cap is. We know it was on the right side on that one. I don't see it here. Everything else pretty much on the right side is identical. Nothing else to complain about. Once again, the mirror's in the same spot. There you have the cutout. So I don't have too much to complain. It actually looks like, when you think of the blue and the yellow rally cars, this is definitely one of those ones. But there's nothing wrong with the road version plane. I'm just going to say that. I had that R33 Skyline and I absolutely loved it. And I traded it for something else. Anyway, 2016 Subaru WRX STI. 2019, so it's 2 years newer than that. You can just see the matte black underbody, which is great. I love the shiny, but I do honestly think the matte blacks, and I brought this up with them too, I do prefer them much better. And S47 release for this one, S44 release for this one, although they do come together in this 2-pack. So, fans and friends, thank you for watching. I'm going to race them for about 2 seconds. Definitely worth it. They're not super expensive. Can't go wrong with the classics, right? And so there we have it. What I believe is the 2000 to 2002 Subaru WRX. Possibly, but not officially. I can believe what I want. Maybe it's STI, maybe it's not. But it's a Subaru WRX for sure, between the years of 2000 and 2002. And then here we have exactly a 2016 version of the car, but it's an STI model. There you have the plain details. Extremely similar, but perhaps you can see there it's almost exactly the same. The only thing they've done is change here where the pin goes, and then pretty much it's 99% the same. So you have it. Fans and friends, thanks for watching. This is Tom from Toronto, and to the next one.